Season 3 of Parenting with a Purpose.
I am your host, Donna Janel.
And I'm your co-host, Pamela.
And this season, we have some exciting sessions. We got parenting from prison, parenting after prison, cultural differences in parenting, financial literacy. We got all this exciting stuff coming this season.
And we're taking Parenting with a Purpose around the world.
We live. How this live? You ready? Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Parenting with a Purpose. I am your host, Donna Janel.
And I am your co-host, Pamela.
Today, we're going to be talking about education, right? You know, our job here at Parenting with a Purpose is to bring back the responsibility, nobility, and beauty back into parenting. As you know, our theme, our mission here is saying that parents are the bows and children are arrows. They will land wherever we send them as long as we equip them, give them the tools to land. As long as we don't send the kids outside butt naked. As long as we clothe them, right? So today, our special guest here is Briel Hurling. She is an elementary school teacher. Welcome to the studio.
Welcome.
Thank you. All right, so Briel, today we're going to be talking about education and the importance of parental involvement. So Brielle is going to share her expertise, her insight, being an elementary school teacher. Some things that I got some questions for you tonight, Brielle.
Give it to me.
So first, we're going to start by you just tell us a little bit about yourself. You know, so the audience get to know who you are and what you do and why you do what you do.
Okay, well, my name is Briel. I am a kindergarten teacher in Wilmington, Delaware, at a local charter school. I had a love for children since I was younger, and I've had to ask God, like, okay, what is my purpose? What do you want me to do with these children? He gave it to me like, you're going to be a teacher. And I was like, okay. I was working in Pennsylvania for about 4 years as a PCA, personal care assistant. After that, I went to the school. I got hired on as a paraprofessional. That was like, God was like, you know what, I'm going to keep you here, but I ain't going to keep you here too long. So I was only a para for 3 months, and then a kindergarten teacher position opened up, and I've been a kindergarten teacher for 3 years now, and I absolutely love what I do.
All right. You absolutely love what you do.
Yes. Sometimes.
The transition, I want to get into that real quick. The role that you were in when you were in PA.
Mm-hmm.
What did that consist of? How did that look like? What did that look like?
So that was a big difference. Like when I say from Pennsylvania, I'm talking rural areas of the horses that I'm passing by every morning, of the Amish that I'm passing by. Like, wow. I don't see any of that now. Now I'm in the city, so of course the children are different. So you have your children who are coming to school, not sleeping in class, and then you have the ones that are in the city, which are coming to school, sleeping in class. So,
oh man, that's a difference.
It's a big difference, yeah. So I had to the adjustment was like very big. It was like, whoa, can I do this, or do I want to go back to that hour drive? Like sometimes just like.
That was your commute?
My commute every single morning. It took me an hour up and an hour back. So yes.
Wow. That's so you was out there with the mushroom farms and stuff, and then you came into the city and they wasn't asleep. Okay.
You don't know if your phone gonna have signal or not. I lost signal about 2 miles out.
Yeah, like that's so serious. Yeah. So what grade you teach now?
Kindergarten.
Wow. So you got those kids that's coming in. Whoa. So you kind of teaching them how to sit down, how to get adjusted.
She's at the crucial area, the crucial age.
This age is so crucial. It's like I am mom and dad. Like I'm teaching the basics. They're coming to me not knowing anything. When I say anything, not knowing how to trace, not knowing how to hold a pencil, So we have to get down and, all right, this is how we do this. This is how we hold this. This is how we use the scissors. This is how we use the glue. Yes.
So let me ask you a question. A lot of the students that come in there, have they not had preschool?
So, yes. So sometimes some do go to preschool and then some don't. You can tell the ones that do go to preschool because they come in knowing their letters, names, and their sounds. You can tell the ones that don't because they don't know how to trace, or they don't know how to walk in a straight line, or there's certain things that you can tell. I definitely can tell the difference of if they've been to preschool and if they haven't. And of course, I'm always asking parents like, hey, did they have a previous preschool experience? Because if they did, I could tell.
Yeah, so. It's important. I had a conversation with somebody about them saying that they're not going to put their child in preschool because, you know, everything that's going on with schools and, you know, people are afraid. But I was trying to enlighten them on the social aspect of it, and then also preparing them to, it's going to be a shock from being home with whoever, Nana or whoever, and then they go right to school and they're not even equipped to be at school, because it's not like you at home, you're doing what the preschool do. You know what I mean? Some parents are, and some parents aren't, but we were having a conversation because preschool is so expensive.
Right.
And it's not like that. Some states, everybody goes to preschool, they don't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
But then we got other states like here in Delaware, like you pay for preschool. Ooh. Some people may go in the Head Start, or some people may even go into school a little early if they have some delays. However, if you're just an average kid and you're parents are paying for these kids to go to preschool, so a lot of people are opting out of sending their kids to preschool because they can't afford it. But now when we think about it, though, as we're talking about it, like, it's really important.
You're almost doing them a disservice. Right. And to be honest, speaking on the part where if you are just like an average Joe, your kid can't. Because when I signed my daughter up for Head Start, like, I was denied.
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm saying. Like, so that's a legislation part. That's like the state. Like, when we think about, like, first of all, politics is more important than we realize, because it really affects everyday living. You know, our local offices and stuff like that. Because when we think about it, like, somebody should be writing laws saying that every kid deserves a preschool education for free.
Yes,
not just those who they think economically, like, you know.
Absolutely.
Because I got other bills too. Like, you know what I mean? I got cars and, you know, house notes and stuff. So I think everybody deserves a free education, and it shouldn't be based on what your financial situation is. And unfortunately, a lot of states do not have money in their budget for our children. And then when they get in school, then they just don't know. So you just really...
And then they suffer their first years. And when you think about it, most children get held back.
Absolutely.
Or they, you know, it shows up between that first and third grade.
Yeah.
And it's a big... So I could say from kindergarten, like, they lose it from... After that, it's like first grade, then second grade, then third. They're like out of it. It's just like, I know I taught you how to read when you left. Why are you not showing these teachers you know how to read? Like, it shocks me so crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But yeah.
Well, that brings me to the point of one of the things I know. One of the things that we were talking about in your takeaway is about reading, how important. So let's get into that, because, you know, we just talked about from kindergarten to first, second, third grade, how there is like something. So that's deficient now, because you were reading here and then now you're not. So tell us how important it is for parents. Like, what we as parents, because we already said sometimes kids don't have preschool, right? So how do we prepare our kids for school? How do we prepare our children to be successful? And let's talk about reading first.
Of course. So reading is fundamental. I will say that first. Reading to your child, it just opens them up to listening and hearing and understanding that letters make words and words make sentences. Yeah. I'm bringing kindergarten to y'all, right?
Yeah. Let's keep it elementary. Let's
exactly. That's how I say it. Like, they make words and then words make sentences, and that's how we read. So I say it's so important to just read to your child every single night. It doesn't even have to be a book. Having that conversation with your child when they get home, like, hey, how was your day? Did anything happen? How can I help you? Where can I start? Like, just having a conversation with them, it opens up and it broadens their vocabulary. We know that we are labeled as Black people who, you know, don't really like reading, and we don't put our face to the books. So it starts with at home as well. Us teachers, we can't do it all. Right. So we ask for a partnership. You could be in the store and you see something and your child might like it and say, hey, this is a toy, or whatever toy it is. Have them repeat it after you, just so that they're getting that vocabulary in them. When I say reading is so important, reading has declined in the state of Delaware, like, over years now. So it's just, I want to be that teacher that students come back and say, thank you. Like, you helped my child. you help my child to read. Now they're at the top. Like, they're at the top of their class. Like, that's how I want to be. So
essentially what you're saying is that, first of all, I guess in the womb we need to start communicating with our children. Because what you're saying here is like really basic communication.
Yes.
Because as they learn how to communicate with us, then they start understanding and listening to words, and then they start to repeat. Because kids are sponges, and you know, this is such a crucial age where everything they're listening, they're watching, they're hearing, and they're repeating.
Yes.
So even if they don't understand, but they repeat. But these kids are smart though. They do be understanding.
They are.
They be understanding.
Just okay. So that's funny that you said that. So talking to my grandmother like a while back, and she'll say like, "Oh, these baby nowadays they're so advanced. They're so this." And I was like, "It's not that children are advanced. It was that in your time, you guys like put a cap on what babies should be able to do and say and things like that, exposing them to certain things." I said, and then even when you talk to them in this language.
It's little baby talk.
And so if you would hear a lot of babies at that time, they are saying like goo goo gaga. But now you hear children saying real words, and you like, hold on. No, that's what it should have been going on if you were developing that, like you said, in the womb, because it starts in the womb. When they letting them hear sounds, different sounds, reading to them, talking to them, letting them hear music, introducing it to them, letting them know this is what we're about to do. With Victoria, that's what I did from the time I found out I was pregnant. I started doing that from day one, like playing no games. I got her signed up with Imaginary, it's the library with Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
From day one, when she graduated from it, she was like disappointed. When you turn 5, they send you like a certificate and a graduation and letting you know you're departing from it. Right. And they've started your library for you. Oh, she was like heartbroken because she looked forward to going to the mailbox. She got to learn what a mailbox was from exposing her, what a mailman and a mail woman actually does for the community, for the world. So just starting right there, you're already exposing them to so much.
Absolutely. Yeah, and so what I'm hearing is like communication is that's the key to everything.
Yes.
I do remember getting like National Geographic's magazines in the mail, little kids. So I didn't know they still did that. I did
they
that
just
for my
recently started back.
They did that when my kids were younger. So I saw that. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get these for my god kids because that is so cool. That learning animals, learning like how history, like it's so many different topics and subjects, and I think that, like you said, like reading is so important, and we gotta communication, comprehension. Like parents are the first teachers.
Absolutely,
first teachers.
So if they don't get a foundation at home, by the time they get to you in kindergarten, they behind.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. She said it's a wrap. It's not even they behind. It's so difficult,
and they're suffering.
Yeah. And then it's like so much work put on us, and then it's like they expect us to do everything. And I'm just like, no, we are humans too. Like we have lives outside of here too. So it's like we need you. This is a partnership.
That part right there. This is a partnership. Yeah.
Like, I tell that to my parents every day. Thank you for your partnership. Thank you for responding to my emails. Thank you for answering my phone calls. Thank you for showing up to conferences. This is a partnership. You cannot leave this child dry and trying to have me and this child figuring it out on our own.
Right.
Have you always sent out emails?
Always. I go above and beyond with my parents. I probably do way too much, but I just got a message today like, thank you so much, because I've had preschool teachers where they will only send out one memo and then that's it. I'm sending out weekly newsletters. I'm sending out messages on top of messages.
I will be hyped.
I like that.
That's what I'm saying, to like make sure that you understand where we at, what's going on, what I'm teaching this week, what I'm teaching next week. Like be on top of the game, be ahead of the game, so that way when they come, my mom taught me, my dad.
That's right. That's what we want. We want that parental involvement. We don't want parents to think that they're dropping their kids off like they at a babysitter house or something like that. You come watch my kids while I go to work or do A, B, and C.
That's what it is.
That's
daycare.
Those emails, I get those
flag
emails.
Flag on the play. Did you hear that part?
My bad.
No.
I was going to bypass it. You want to do a U-turn?
Skirt. Ma'am, so you feel That no, honestly, because parents need to hear this.
It's real talk.
You feel that? Tell me what you feel just now, because I heard that.
It is like a daycare. It's
Okay.
like a daycare. Like,
Now, why do you feel that way?
I feel like, so I know that the children that are in kindergarten now, I believe this is the last set of children that was born either during COVID or towards like the end of COVID.
Yeah, because that was 20 and we're 24.
So they
Yeah.
don't have much education. They don't have much preschool because just think,
Oh, yeah.
they're home.
Interactions,
There's
period.
so I'm getting them and they don't know a thing if they didn't go to preschool. If grandmoms just have them home eating up cookies and cream and not teaching them letter A, B, and C.
Right.
While they baking with them, you
Yeah.
could be introducing it to them. But
Wait,
instead-
but you know what? You
Wow.
brought a valid point. We cannot forget about COVID.
Let's not forget about it.
We cannot forget about the effects, because we're still living the effects of
that
COVID.
threw a big flag on the play.
Yeah, so not only some parents couldn't afford to already send their kids to preschool, right? But then we got the parents that could, because schools were online, but preschools were not.
Nope.
they
Probably
were
wasn't even-
not.
Probably wasn't even open.
Yeah, they wasn't open. They definitely wasn't open.
Wow.
And they weren't. So now, okay, so you're getting like virgin
The
kids,
last set
like,
of COVID
basically.
kids. This is
Yeah.
the last set. So next year it will be back to normal. I will have children that have been in preschool that know.
Maybe because not everybody can afford
You
preschool.
right.
Maybe.
Let's go back to that.
So
You're right.
all right, so all right, so let's think about this. How do parents prepare their children for kindergarten if they have not had a preschool experience?
Okay, so if they have not had a preschool experience, I would say so I know I would start off with at least knowing letter names and sounds.
Okay.
That's the biggest thing, because once they come in knowing their letter names and sounds, it's so easy to move from that. I would say buy as many books as you can.
Okay.
Like load up on tons and tons of books, even if they can't read it. Like every time before I read, we always take a picture walk. Like we always look at the pictures and I'm like, okay, what do you think is gonna happen? Like they predict, they make a hypothesis
Oh, yeah.
about what the story is gonna be about. And then that gives them like the responsibility of, after I'm done reading the book, they're like, we said that. Like, that's what we said. So they feel so excited. It's like, dang, I thought about that. So now I'm just going to start reading more books. And it makes them want to read when they hear that, oh, my mom just read this or my teacher read this and this is what we said. So picture walks are always amazing. Even if y'all can't read.
Right.
It's amazing. That's the best thing ever. Letter name and sounds, picture walk, reading to them, and I would say just get like workbooks, like dollar store workbooks. Like they come in. I have so many dollar store workbooks, flashcards. Just flash them, hang them up in the bathroom while they brushing their teeth. Like start working on sight words, like the words that we normally see every single day. Like those are things that parents can do to prepare for kindergarten if they have not had a preschool experience. But if they have had a preschool experience, keep up on it so that they don't forget. Because you didn't remember, it's a summer.
Right.
A summer is about a couple months. They lose all that time of what they learned in school.
You know what I see now, which, you know, I'm dating myself because the internet and phones and stuff is all that. I know your eyelashes went all the way to the back of the ponytail right there.
You say you dating yourself?
Yeah, so when I'm thinking about it, I mean, because pre-internet days, I was alive. But what I notice now is that when I'm looking and observing kids, like wherever they are, they're on electronics. They don't have books in their hands. They don't, like, parents are bringing, even when they come to the doctor's office, like they're not bringing them stuff like little puzzles to play with, little books to read about. I'm literally saying everybody has electronic in it, even at that young age. And me as a nurse, knowing the implications of them being
1-year-olds
screen
be
time,
like tearing it up.
The screen time really does change the synapse in your brain. It really does change the brain structure and function neurologically. So I'll be like, yo, I can't believe this 1-year-old is on his phone like that.
You know what
So
I
go
love?
ahead. Go ahead. What you guys say?
Chick-fil-A, their toys.
Oh yeah.
Chick-fil-A, yeah.
They give out books, they give out crafts, they give
Yeah.
out flashcards, and guess what? The back of the seat, I don't use that for electronics. I use that for her go-to pocket.
Yeah.
So I don't leave crayons because in the summer
They melt.
They come out.
Yeah.
So we have color pencils, many color pencils, and we have like pens with lids.
Right.
And different kind of notepads, different kind of books, or whatever it's in the
whole
pocket.
activity
I
thing.
check it from time to time, make sure it's still stuff in there and different things. But even my nieces, when they get in my car, they're like, "Oh, forget these iPads." They throwing them
Yeah,
because they're
like-
like, "Oh, what's in the
Because
pocket?"
kids want to be stimulated. And
Yes.
First of all, whatever you give them, they're going to use. Like, you know. So, go ahead, what you got to say about this? Because I'm telling you, I'll be so frustrated when I see all these kids with, first of all, these are computers. Like,
Let me tell you what I tell my kids every day. You can do that TikTok things, but you can't read.
that part.
Cause that's all they be doing on
Yeah.
TikTok.
And they be knowing the
Dance,
songs.
and they know the dances, the songs.
That's how you know they smart. Like, they smart, but
you
why they can't?
read?
Are they being made to read? What, they only going to do what they're exposed to. Right? So that's the thing. I seen a TikTok, the little girl, she had to be 4 years old, did a whole Sexy Red song. I don't even listen to Sexy Red. I think that's disgusting. But that's just my personal opinion. You know what I mean? Because it ain't even sexy, really. But what I'm just saying is, they don't get
Flag on the flag.
I'm just saying, like, because now you got people thinking that that's what the word sex is supposed to look like.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but the kids, like, I seen it. I was so hurt that this kid was singing, and all the adults was like, yeah. They was going singing it with her. And stuff. I was like, y'all. Yeah. So
I can't.
it's not cute.
It's not, and it's just like put on something educational, even if it's not educational. Like put on something that you know is going to stimulate their mind to get them to thinking and to make them grow and be a better person. All this TikTok and this, I'm going to do this and I know this song and we going to dance in this and watch me do this. Like, I don't want to watch you do, I want to watch you read.
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
guess what we do? 8 counts.
I don't know what that is.
So in dance, you learn by 8 count.
Oh, okay. I don't know how to dance.
It's 8 counts,
the same route there. I
16.
have no rhythm, no
Se-
beat, no nothing. So you talking about some 8 count? I'm in my brain trying to figure out how I'm supposed to count 8, move and count 8. Go ahead.
So you make sentences doing 8 counts. You do a dance like doing 8 counts. So you find something that your child loves. You find something that catches their attention. So if you see that these songs are doing that, you put it into an 8 count or put it into something that you know will grasp their attention.
Or the instrumental, like 'cause
Yes.
a lot of everything is beats, right? I tell y'all.
So you can cut the words,
Yeah,
and then you
that
can
makes
have
sense.
it set up where we're hearing this. Okay, you gotta give me a sentence, or you gotta give me a word. Whatever word you give me, I'm gonna spell it. You spell it back.
I like those teachers. I've seen on TikTok though those teachers who actually, I guess that's what they're doing. They're singing like their alphabets or different
To
things
a beat.
to a
Yes.
beat. Yeah, I get it. I probably wouldn't have passed when I was little because I ain't got it. So yeah, but for those who do, they're like maybe if they did it when I was young, I probably would have learned how to have beats by now.
Probably so,
Maybe
probably
it would have been beats by Donna Janel. Like I don't know. But,
We got you.
But I get
Yes.
I get that and I understand that the importance of really. So basically, in order for our children to be successful, parental involvement is so important. And the key portion of parental involvement is communication.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Intentional. Because we want to be effective at what we're doing. Because there's so many things that you teachers are going through, right? You know, I thought about one of the things that I was talking on the show last week, but y'all are dealing with behavioral issues, right? Because we're going to tap on that, behavior issues. And then it's hard for you guys to really kind of academics because you're dealing with the behavior issues. On top of it, I know that the most recent and the most scary thing is a lot of these school shootings that you guys are dealing with. We're going to tap into that a little bit later. But how, as a parent, like our job is to make sure that you guys are able to teach our kids. So that starts at home. So I like when you said the foundation is like reading to your kids, communicate with your kids, be intentional. Don't sit your kids in front of the TV.
Yep.
You don't know, some of this stuff, I don't even be watching TV. You know why? Because I'm like, I can't believe you got this on this TV.
They be off the hook.
Like the commercials, like everything, and even if you're streaming now, because before when we had regular cable, they was putting any and everything on there. But even now streaming, it's like if you got money to advertise, you can go anywhere. And even now streaming has even just been, you can't even filter as much as you wanted to, but streaming, so you can't leave the up to your kids with these devices because we don't know what they watching, what they learning,
what they watching, but also what they hearing. So parents, watch what you say around your kids, because they're going to come back and they're going to tell us. And they're going to tell us the real stuff.
What they be saying,
They be saying everything.
I want to hear something. What they
My mom went to the where? To the bar.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They could tell you that story better than they could tell you Three Little Pigs.
But that part, flag on the play. So we really got to be intentional of how, because I really believe, like, I feel like the societal issues that we have stem from non-effective parents.
Absolutely.
And that's where behaviors come from as well. Like I remember I shared a story before. It was like Victoria was having an issue with another little girl because basically she could see like your parents is showing up. Not just your mom, but your dad. Then you got grandparents, godparents. You got all these different people showing up for you. And I don't got nobody showing up for me.
Right, so they have anger, and then that's how bullying happen. And people tease kids who parents don't show up. Like, parents, y'all don't show up. Your mom ain't nothing. She ain't never. I'm hearing some stuff like I've never heard when I was younger. Like, they bully these kids for parents and not being involved.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, it's crazy. So tell us what else. I know we talk about communication. How about routine and schedules? Like, how important is that for our children to be successful?
Yeah, so I know at the beginning of the show we talked about getting enough sleep. So I know that some kids have like after school extracurricular activities, or parents will make them go to after school and make them stay until 6 o'clock because they need their time. Like, I get that, but also make sure that you have like a definite routine schedule when you get home. Like, okay, if you know when you get home you gotta cook, have that baby getting in the shower or in the bathtub. Like, knocking two birds out in one stone, because it's just like the longer you take to get them to go to sleep, the longer it's going to take them longer to go to sleep.
Right.
So it's like, make sure that they get enough sleep. Make sure that they get a healthy meal at home, a nice dinner when they wake up in the morning, a good breakfast. That stuff matters, because it's just like when they come to us, some of them don't get that. And I now have to be the one to tend to their needs, or tend to their whining, or tend to them saying, I'm hungry, I don't have any food, because it's like they miss out on so much. And it hurts me, because I'm like, well, dang, like I wish I had like a little bucket I could, pass out some
granola bars or
something. But like, that's how they come to school. Someone be like, I didn't eat, or I don't, and it's not just where I'm at, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. I think parents aren't intentional enough. I really believe, so I really think that parents don't understand the purpose in parenting.
Absolutely.
Like, we're raising children to be successful, right? So whatever success looks like in your household. And I think that they don't understand the foundational things. Like, a lot of times, a lot of parents are back to the old thing of food, clothes, and shelter, right? They're not intended to these children emotional needs, mental stability, and even, am I getting a nutrition meal? Because you can say you can say you fed your kid and you fed them pure junk. I just had one of my friends as a preschool teacher, right? Director, actually, she owns her own preschool, and I literally just wrote a letter for her about the dangers of oodles and noodles. We're talking about preschool. So I literally had put in the danger of it, the choke, the hazardous, and also the nutrition part of it. Because a lot of parents are bringing their kids oodles and noodles to eat. First of all, they destroy the texture, everything. They choking, they're halfway about to die. And now we got to do CPR on your kid. You know what I mean? So just educating parents to understand what nutrition is, what is a balanced meal, what is balanced time. I know growing up, raising my kids, a lot of people looked at me like I was crazy and thought I was so strict. I wasn't a strict mom, but what I knew is that I only have a certain amount of wake hours, alert and oriented hours with my kids. Because think about it. if we wake them up in the morning, 6 o'clock or whatever. Say you wake them up at 6 because maybe you got to be to work at 8 or whatever. You drop them off at before care, right?
Yep.
So like in the morning, you're rushing up, like eat this, or if you're saying eat this, you know, here's a Pop-Tart or something like that. You get them together, you send them to before care, which they're running around, they're not doing much or whatever. They done ran that Pop-Tart off.
Okay.
So then they go into school. They're in school 8 hours, right? And then they're jump on the bus to get back home, or however they get back home, or after school programs. So wait, because a lot of parents are sending them to after school programs, right? So in after school programs, some of them are not. Some of them are babysitters. Some of them not actually geared to go over the homework, to do different things, right? So then you have that. So then by the time you get your kid back home, it's about 6 o'clock, right? 6:30. And then you're throwing whatever it is for them to eat. They're sitting in front of the TV, or you might have them sit and read by themselves or do their homework by themselves, and they still don't have a clue what they're supposed to be doing, right? So if you, and then you sit them in front of the TV, right? And then it's bedtime. Now, those hours are so important when they're alert and oriented and awake, because most of the time our kids are asleep when we have them. Like, what are we giving them while they're asleep? So I used to, like, my kids didn't watch any TV during the week. It was like, yeah, oh,
You
wow.
was strict.
But it was, my kids didn't watch it. They were at bed at 7:30. Let me tell you.
7:30. Pause.
Yeah.
Pause.
Yeah, no flags,
That
no
was
flags.
TV on.
So this was my routine. I know, pause on the play. You're like, wait a minute.
What job you had?
Yeah, hold on. They would get home from school, right? Well, I already had their dinner prepared, so it was either a crock pot or something like first, planning is so important. So I already had a schedule. This is what we're going to do. So when they come home, they're doing their schoolwork. The dinner is already there. So they eat dinner. We sit around and we have a conversation about school, eat dinner. Okay, now it's shower time. Get your shower time. While one's in the shower, I'm talking to the other. I have 4 kids. So I'm splitting my time, whatever. So by the time they finish their shower, they come downstairs. It's about 7 o'clock now. Everything 7 o'clock. So now we're doing puzzles. We're doing games. We're doing a lot of other stimulating stuff. No TV at all. So 7:30, they're in bed and they're knocked out because they had a long day at school and then we did stuff. So when they wake up in the morning, they're not cranky, they're not fussy or whatever, because they had that time and they didn't get filled with so much junk in their brain before they went to lay down. A lot of times we're putting these kids in front of screens so their brain is continuing running and running. So to the point where my daughter, my oldest, who's 25 now, when she went to college, you know her biggest problem was? She couldn't stay awake. She was so used to going to bed at 7:30, unless she had a lot of after school stuff. But even when she had the after school stuff, like she came, shower, it's time to go to bed. So her biggest challenge in college was she was on a governor board and stuff like that. And those meetings were at 9 or 10 o'clock at night while she was in college. She said, "Mom, I can't stay awake." Because she had the routine so much. And it was crazy because all the people that was in the dorms and stuff, they would watch the TV. They was doing, her brain has already developed all these years of not sitting down and just watching TV. So that was the biggest challenge for her. I said, well, if that's the biggest challenge for her in college, I'm okay with that.
Right.
So even now, my kids are 16 and 18. Like they really, the one that tested my inner gangster, they really shut down early because of the routine they learned. And because I found like, if I have these little bit of wake hours, I need to be able to pour as much as possible in
Dang,
there.
Donna, you make me feel bad. My sister-in-law too, because my brother and his lady, my niece and nephew, they've been on a schedule, like I promised, since in the womb.
I'm telling you.
You not well. I know, like Victoria would wake up at a certain time when I was pregnant, and then like she would try to be up in the middle of the morning. Well, like she never had that issue. Like my sister-in-law, she never had that issue. And like still to this day, like my niece and nephew, they probably sleep right now, not even in the bed, because
my kids will be in the bed.
By 8:30 max. Like,
it's so important.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never had a schedule for Victoria. I still don't.
Listen, let me tell you how important sleep is. I think sleep is underrated.
Absolutely.
It is underrated. And that when we talk about self-help and stress and all that, we need to understand that sleep is a part of that.
Yeah.
Your body needs to rest. And our kids need sleep, depending on the age, either 8 to 10 hours of sleep or 12 to 14 hours of sleep, depending on the age. Yeah, I know they ain't cast like 18 hours a day, but I'm saying kids, kids really do. Like, and it's proven that kids who sleep well do well. Mm-hmm. Think about this. If you don't sleep well, do you do well?
I'll be tired.
You be like, I don't understand. I can't comprehend. Can't keep my eyes closed. I'm extra silly. Yeah. I ain't processing. So just imagine that as a kid who can't control that. So we as parents has to put the foot down and say, hey, this is what we're doing. Even my godchildren, I raised them the same way. They was in bed. Their parents be cranking up because they called me. They were like, listen, she ain't in bed. Because if she was at my house, she was in bed. They know the routine.
See,
and they be knocked out.
Kids be knowing. Because look, my same nieces and nephews, when they with me, look, my baby Novi be like, I ain't going to sleep. I be like, nope, we up. She already know. At Auntie and Uncle house, we be up. But let me tell you, when it's time to get up, they all handle their business. And it's like Victoria, my mom always says, she's like an adult. Like, how does that baby go to bed late and get up? Yeah. Like,
but eventually that's gonna fall because you can't keep up that routine forever. Yeah, that's the thing. You're gonna these kids are gonna get burned out. They're gonna get frustrated, even though we think that they doing this easy, right? Right. But they probably in their brain they tired as much. They trying to keep their stuff together for you. Cause you ain't put your foot down.
Absolutely. It's not even that. It's literally, that's why I was saying, what kind of job did you have? Yeah. So, like, I literally was teaching when I had Victoria. Mm-hmm. Like, when I was pregnant with Victoria. Office. So, and then I was like the aftercare. So I wasn't getting off till 6 o'clock. Mm-hmm. So we got our village helping us with Victoria. So like you said, by the time you get home sometime, it's 7 o'clock for me, even if I got stuff prepped, or at the time when she was younger, it's eating. But it was like you said, I want to spend that time with my child now. So, and giving her a bath, sometimes she already got her bath because my mom or whoever she may have been with, like, that's one less thing I want you to have to worry about. So it's like still trying to make sure I'm spending that time. And then also with the job that my husband has, it's like, sometimes we don't see him for like 2 days because he got to work around the clock. Right. But
so even though, a lot of parents ask that questions, like they run down their whole schedule like you kind of did or whatever. That's a little cute. So, but we find time to do what we need to do, what we really want to do, and what's in our heart. So even villages are amazing. I love a village. You can't do this thing alone. Whether you're married, single, or divorced, you can't do it alone. But what I do know is that even that little bit of time that you spend to your child has to be intentional. Right. So even if you're not the one giving them a bath, but you're the one putting them to bed, let's talk. Like, you're not, my thing is that you're not sitting them in front of a television, sitting them in front of a computer and letting that stuff teach them, sing them, sitting in bed and stuff like that. No, you're being intentional. So even if your schedule is complex as it may be, we as parents still have to be intentional and finding that time to make sure we connect with our kids, because when you ask a kid what is love, they spell time. I know I'm loved by how much time you spend with me, not how much money you spend on me, not how many games you get me, how many clothes and stuff like that, not the material stuff. It's really, I know that you love me because you're taking your time and spending with me.
And that's what Tori says. I say, I love you, Tori. She goes, I love you, Maya. How do you know? How do you know that I love you? Like, you and daddy, like, y'all always make sure I got this. You make sure you do this with me. Like, and she'll go down the line, like, that's how I know. And I said, well, what if mommy's not able to do that? Does that mean that I don't love you? She said, no, because you've already done it for me.
Right. So, Briel, let me ask you a question. So, you as a teacher, do you have students, because I see the flip side of if we don't do what we're supposed to do as parents, right? If we don't give them the proper rest, if we don't give them the proper nutrition, if we don't spend the proper time with them, what are the effects of it? What do you see in your classroom with these children who are not getting those areas fulfilled?
It just throws them off. Like, it will throw their whole day off. Like, let's just say they come in and they don't get breakfast. Last night, mommy had to work, right? Because we
gotta work.
Humans, we gotta work. We gotta pay the bills. It just throws their day off, and I feel like I'm like this. Like, I can read children, and I understand, because when they come into me, first thing they do is give me love. Like, They give me hugs. It's first thing I do before they come to my classroom, I make sure I tell them good morning, and we always do a high five.
Mm-hmm.
From there, I can tell, okay, something happened at home. Let me call mom. Let me call dad. Let me see what happened. Because it lets me know, like, how their day is going to go.
Right.
I'm with them for 6.5 hours this whole time. I need to know and understand if something happened at home last night, this morning, if JoJo couldn't get cereal this morning and they really wanted cereal, but we got cereal here, let me go get them JoJo cereal.
Right.
So his day won't be so thrown off.
Right. It's just the little things like
The
that.
small things that count.
Right.
And they little, so it's just even if they were bigger, it's like the small things that count. The conversations with them, the letting them know that, like, look, I'm here for you. Like, I got your back. Like, you feel me? So I think it starts there. It's just like I can tell when they're thrown off or when they're not gonna have a good day. But it always turns out a good day because it's me.
That's good. So I remember you said like emails and sending out different things, maybe in like folders or whatever. But if the child is having a bad day, do you have like an app or like different resources that you could get to a little quicker to reach out to those parents? Because I think that's really good if you can kind of know like, did something happen? You don't got to go into detail, but like you said, so it can make my classroom go a little bit better because I don't just have one child.
Right. So, yes, I do have a quick system that I use. Well, of course, we all know Class Dojo. A lot of teachers use that for parents' communication. I do use that for what's coming up, what's happening, what I'm teaching, what I'm doing. I let them know that there. I also... to the parents that I know that's not going to abuse my number, I will give my phone number out. Just don't call me different times of the night.
Right.
And I also have, so in their folders, we have calendars. On that calendar day, I do happy faces, straight faces, or sad faces. If they got a happy face, that means they had an amazing day.
Right.
If they got a straight face, I had to give them a couple warnings, but, maybe they can turn it into a happy face. If they had a sad face, they was terrible. I'm writing, they'll see that under that day that they got a sad face. And I'm writing a little note next to the side. If it's major than that note, it'll be on a sticky note. And them kids know, don't touch that sticky note because it's going home to your parents. So I've had a child rip one up before.
Oh, wow. Kindergarten. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, they smart. Oh.
They are.
They
But that's really good. What I just heard in there is maybe parents can start sending a sticky note or something that the child had a good day, the smiley face, that straight face, to let teachers know, like, today may be a little rough.
Yeah, I know. I remember because my kids were complex, with the girls, both parents being deceased. So there were times at home, like, we dealt with some grief and stuff. There was times where it may not have been, like, a great night. Like, she was concerned. When I was concerned. So I've always just had a great relationship with teachers and say, from the beginning of the year, introduce who I am or a situation, and I'm that parent. So I'll be there.
Right.
So it worked out because then it allowed the teacher to understand that I'm a parent that's involved. So that I need to make sure that, in order for this child to be successful, I need to make sure I'm communicating with that parent, because me as a parent, I'm going to communicate. Again, parenting, we got to bring back the responsibility in parenting, the mobility and beauty. So our children are royalty, right? Nobility. Our children are royalty, and we want to make sure that they get the best services as possible. So, like, I remember with the girls, because both parents passed away from heart attacks. So I remember when they were in elementary school, they used to call me all the time. Like, they used to call me just to hear my voice and know that my heart is still beating. Those teachers understood that because they knew the fact that these parents were deceased from heart attacks. So when I would get the phone, the teachers didn't have no problem when one of my children said, hey, I really need to call my Aunt Donna.
Because of that communication.
Because of communication. So that's why parental involvement is so important, because we want our kids to be successful by any means necessary, right? So we as parents have a responsibility to make sure that happens. You as a teacher have a responsibility, but I think the onus is really on the parent to communicate. You got 30 kids in your class.
Back
I got 2 kids at home. Can I step out and need to communicate the way properly?
Yes.
I want to shift the conversation a little bit, Briel. And this is a little bit kind of what we were talking about last week, because we know that there's a lot of violence in schools now, even in our young schools. And the topic that we've been, a lot of people been reaching out even since the podcast last week about school shootings. Well, you know, recently we just had a lot of school shootings. Like, I mean, utterly ridiculous. I can't, like I said, by last Thursday, there were already 46 school shootings for the year, 46. And 24 people died, and 370 something was injured, right? So as a teacher, right, how do you guys address, because this is new for us to understand, and I don't even think parents really understand the magnitude of these shelter in place drills, these active shooter drills, because that's traumatizing to me. So I can imagine it being to children, and we're doing as young as preschool and elementary. One of the I had read an article I talked about last week, is that one of the children had a conversation with his father and said, "Dad, don't buy me light up sneakers anymore." Now the kid loved light up sneakers. First day of school, great, we got some light up school. Yeah. And he's like, "You love light up sneakers. Why don't you want light up sneakers?" "Because the shooter's gonna find me and kill me and my friends."
Sad.
5 years old. So I just got chills again with that.
Yeah.
So tell me, one, how do you feel about what's going on with the school shooting and the drills? I know you guys had act trainers and things like that. How do you feel about that, and what we as parents can kind of do to prepare our kids so that it's not a shocker when they come to school and have to do these drills? I remember just fire drills, and that was scary enough. That was loud and annoying, and we had to go outside in the wintertime with no coat on. Yeah. That was my biggest issue. But now it's a whole different thing. So can you talk to us a little bit about your experience as a teacher? And I know that was heavy of what I just hit you with.
Yeah, I'm like, hold on now.
But
I think I got it.
Okay.
So I'll first say that just looking on different news, it's scary. Like, it's, as a teacher, like, it is scary. Like, I know that my life is on the line for these children. Right. And that's okay, because I love what I do. Right. My life is on the line. So if anybody was to ever come and do anything, I know I need to be the first person to step forward.
Okay. Yeah.
That's how we're taught. You got to be the first person to step forward, and that's okay. As far as practicing drills, we do that monthly. I know with my kids, we have to like try to find something to keep them like quiet, because they talk a lot. Right. I was like, how you get a kindergarten? And I tell them every time, I'm like, yo, if somebody came up to this school, we done. They finding us. They coming and knock on the door. They know we in here, and it's over. We done. Quiet. And they be like, what you mean, Miss Hurling? I'm like, you have to be quiet. Like, this is the time. Let's play the quiet game. Like, I try to make it into a game, because it's like, that's how their minds think. Like, they like playing games and video games. So I'm like, okay, let me make this into a game. So I know we just practiced. We had our fire drill the other day, and they did pretty good. You know, they were quiet, getting down the steps and all of that. But we have not done the, active shooter drill yet. And I am like, frantic. Like, because how in the world am I going to get all of these children to be quiet when they don't even be quiet while I'm teaching?
Ooh.
So a teacher last week said something that she does in the morning when they come in. They do a game of hide and seek.
Oh. Yeah, she's teaching elementary as well.
She's in kindergarten.
Kindergarten, yeah.
And they do hide and seek.
You know, what hit me, what she said was, when she first come into class before her kids, whatever, they're looking for place. She's looking for where her kids are going to hide. Yeah. That is so crazy. Yeah. Like, you got to walk in. So then, in the beginning of the class, that's what they do. She prepares them every day, just in case. Yeah. That's scary.
It's very scary. It is. Because then it's like, okay, I have so many students. What if my classroom is not big enough?
Right.
Ooh. What if they're in the open, or my window is just slightly open that they can peek in and see? Yeah. Or what if one of my kids are so scared, crying, because they don't know what's going on, and now I have to be the comforter, but also hide us.
Yeah. That's a lot to think about. And I think that one of those things that we as parents, we don't really know, because we're not in the school. So how do we prepare? So that's one of the other reasons parental involvement is important, to have a relationship with the teacher, so that, even doing a drill, you can say, hey, such and such didn't do too well in the drill. They had some problems or whatever. Because I know one of my daughters, the one that tested my inner gangster, surprisingly enough, did not like fire drills or those active drills. She really had a hard time. So I would always know what we had in the plan is that for them to let me know when they're going to do these drills so that I can prepare her too, so that it's not a whole big thing. And technically, like, you really don't want to do that, but if you know a kid who is so frightened from it and that it's really traumatic for them, like, having that conversation. So the teachers were like, on the calendar, such and such, you know, and that worked out really well through elementary for her. But it's scary though.
It
so
is. I feel like as far as like a plan for parents, like, just educate your children on it. At least that's the least.
Speaking to them about it,
like, educate them on it. Let them know what it is. Let them know it could be anybody. Like, it's not just. It could be anybody to come into your school. It could be anybody to come on that field while you guys are at a game. Like, anywhere, anything can happen at any time. So just educate them. Have a plan at home. Like, make a plan for your family. Like, just like when I was younger, we did. If you got caught in a fire, stop, drop, and roll. Make a plan for
meet at the tree over there.
That's what I'm saying. Like, make a plan for you and your children. That way, they know when they come to school. Oh, I practiced this at home, or my mom or dad told me about this. Then they're a little more educated, and it's not like they're just looking at me like, what are we doing?
What are you talking about?
What's going on? I'm scared. And now there's my tears.
Yeah, because a lot of parents, they watch the news. The kids hear the news, like, these kids are listening, right? So they know, the kids know what's going on. And I think that's so important to educate them so that it's not something shocking or new to them. And I think one of the things that I hear from a lot of parents, though, is that it's too painful to talk about. It's too scary to talk about. I don't want to scare my kid. But I think ignoring it.
Right. You should be the one introducing it to them.
To be the one to.
You should be introducing it to them.
Because they don't want to bring up thoughts that they may not have already had. But I think ignoring it,
it's a red flag.
Yeah. Ignorance doesn't serve anyone.
No.
Especially our children.
Absolutely.
You said, no, don't leave you to just do it. I need a partnership. Like, because I'm thinking, like, you got like 30 kids in your class, and you trying to do all this, and then you have this, because we know, like, even when we talk about this shooter stuff, like, it happens in colleges, but most of it is happening through K through 12. So that's why it's so important to be, like, really having a conversation. We just seen last week.
This week, it just happened in William Penn.
Yep.
It was reported
Yesterday.
Yep.
Matter of fact, yesterday.
So it's just like, even if you see something, you know, what is your conversation with your child when they see something like that in school?
Yeah.
Because the whole thing about school is making it a safe place.
Right.
A safe environment for them to learn. Like, they want to feel safe when they're learning.
Right.
I want to feel safe when I'm teaching.
I was going to say,
like,
you want to be able to go home to your family. You want to be able to
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So really.
And back to those conversations that you having around the kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, oh, if I get angry, I should do this to somebody. You know?
Because they bullies. They bullying.
Wow. So basically, as we wrap this thing up, we really need to be, as parents, we need to be intentional. We need to really take the time out and understand what our purpose is in raising our children.
Yes.
Like, our children are gifts.
Yes,
like, so
absolutely.
how do you handle a gift, basically? Like, how would you want to handle that gift? Especially these gifts are very fragile. Right? So what are we doing to pour into the lives of our children? And if we don't know how to handle a gift, you kind of go back to the maker and try to figure out how I need to do this, right?
Go back to the maker, and also go back to some of our old Parenting with a Purpose seasons and episodes, because we are here to help give resources, to give you that knowledge, to give you that information. We have this platform so you can ask questions, so we can get the proper resources, getting certain people on the show to talk about real life situations. So when we're speaking about Parenting with a Purpose, getting teachers, getting law enforcement, whether they're parents, they play the role of a parent, whatever it may be, we are putting these things out here to help not just ourselves, but our community and the world as a whole. This is very important to us. So even with this segment tonight, not even feeling like we're trying to beat up on the parents or anything, but really laying the map out of what it is. We have a teacher right here who's letting us know, help me to help you be a better parent, so I can be that better teacher, so we can have better children, so our world can really be a better place.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. That was beautiful, Pam. No, it's so serious because when you look at every time something happens with our children, the first thing they say is, where were the parents? What was going on with the parents? And a lot of times we see in community resources, we see so many resources for our children, right? So that our children can have extracurricular activities so that they don't get into A, B, and C. But at the same time, what tools are we giving the parents? So that they can parent properly. I don't believe in that somebody should come and step in and parent for you. I think that we should help each other parent to the best of our ability. So I need to be able to give you tools and resources and partner with you so your child can be successful. Because sometimes I hear a lot when people say, well, my kid can go to A, B, and C because they can't talk to me. Well, first of all, if your kid can't talk to me, that's a concern for me. I'm not coming in to be your child's superhero. That's not what we're doing. What we're going to do is figure out how we could work together and communicate to better parenting, because at the end of the day, our children are our responsibility.
They are.
And if we don't know how to if you don't know how to do something at your job, you're going to ask for help.
Absolutely.
If you don't know how to make some money, you're going to go figure it out.
So as a parent, it's okay to ask for help. And I know a lot of us have built up these walls, especially parents in my generation. Like, I'm not asking nobody for anything. And, kind of like a nonchalant attitude, because when you were told no at that place where you were in your life, so you feel like, oh, I'm just not going to ask for anything. Like, don't do your child a disservice by continuing to feed that what is it, like, feed that thing that you resist. You get what I'm saying? That wound. There it is, right there, that wound. You feel me? You're being that storm and that rain to them for no reason. They don't deserve it. So again, we're here. Come get connected and be a part of our community, because what we don't know, we're willing to get it for you, as well as we're willing to get it for ourselves.
Yes. And I do want to say too, like, always, it's something like with pride with parents, and it's like they don't put their pride aside and they don't ask for help. So I say do ask for help, because when you ask for help, you get those services that your child needs, and it helps me in the classroom. Right. It's a weight off my shoulder. It's a load that has been lifted. When I get those extra services to help me in the classroom, it's a smooth ride.
Right. You ain't got to be embarrassed. You ain't got to put no pride aside. Because at the end of the day, again, we want our children to be successful.
Yes.
Yeah.
So whatever we got to do as parents, put the pride aside, put the shame aside, or whatever. I know a lot of parents who deal with child with like ADHD, ADD, any type of disorder, and they don't want to get the help because they don't want the stigma behind it. But let me tell you something. You're doing more of a disservice not helping your child than helping them.
Absolutely.
Because you, as a parent, our job is to make sure that our kids get the proper resources.
Yes.
So, again, we here at Parental with a Purpose. We love you guys. We love talking to you guys. And again, follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on YouTube. Just follow us and stay connected. So again, if there's something that you want us to talk about that we have not delved into, we definitely will bring the conversation. So we thank you tonight, Briel, because you really opened up like this huge conversation that should actually be continued.
Absolutely.
Because we as parents don't really know what the teachers feel like or what they have to go through. We only know what we only know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So thank you. I think that you opened up eyes, even though my kids aren't as young anymore, but it really opened up my eyes to be able to communicate with other parents to know what you guys are dealing with.
Yes.
So we certainly appreciate you taking the time and keeping it real.
Yes, absolutely.
On Parental with a Purpose. Again, thank you guys for joining us with Parental with a Purpose tonight. I am your host, Donna Janel.
And I'm your co-host, Pamela.
And we look forward to seeing you back here Thursday night for our next topic. What is our next topic, though? I think we kind of still need to do this school thing a little bit.
and also adding digital into it.
Yeah, digital, because that's a whole nother topic. But whatever it is, we're going to be talking about next week. Trust me, you're gonna get it. You're gonna love it, and you're gonna get an eye open, change some of our thinking as parents and of what really is going on in the world. So again, we thank you guys for joining Parenting with a Purpose. You guys have a great day.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Parenting with a Purpose.
Be sure to follow us every Thursday night at 7 p.m. at Parenting with a Purpose. You can find us wherever you listen to your podcast. Be sure to look up Parenting with a Purpose.